everyone. I wanted to make this short video just to let you get a little bit more experience about how to even get started with your project. So at this point, you've drawn on your design, and that's great. Now we need to actually start sewing our design. And so a couple of things I want to talk to you about that are pretty important is first I want to talk to you about this special type of thread. It's called floss. Embroidery floss, and it typically comes like this wrapped. I have some that's already open here, and I'm going to continue sewing my red bicycle um, in the picture. And I'm not going to show you every stitch today. For that, I would really recommend that you watch the videos that are also linked as additional resources because there's just so many embroidery stitches that can be done. I would not be able to show you them all. And even those videos don't show you them all. They just show some of the more popular ones. And so I would really recommend that you watch those videos so that way you can get some additional options. But I'll show you a few today. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I need to figure out how much of my floss I want to use. And it kind of depends on what you're sewing, if you want a big line or you want a little line. And if it's something more delicate. So for example, my bicycle, I used all of the floss because I wanted a thicker line. But if you look here at my basket, I didn't. So let me see if I have that color nearby. And even if I don't, what I can do is I can do some gray. I'll do the gray. I don't think I have that yellow quite by me right now, but I can do this gray to work on the tires. Okay, and so let's do that. So let me take off these ends. And so you can control a lot of what your project looks like just by simply separating the threads. So this one, again, like I said, has a lot of threads. If I want something thicker, then I'm going to do a lot of the floss. I'm going to do the whole thing, actually, on that one. But on my tires, they're going to be, I want them to be a little bit more delicate looking, a little bit more like this. And so what you're going to do is if you look really closely at your floss, you'll notice that there's multiple threads inside of there. And we don't want all of them for this. So the thinner the line, the less we need of these. So I'm going to take one at a time and I'm going to pull till I get to the end. Oops. There we go. Let me back out a little bit because I'm a little too close. And so here's one thread. That would be a really, really fine stitch. Don't think I quite want that thin. I think I'm going to go with 3. So again, I'm going to pull till I get to the end of this. And I free that thread. So there's 2. So I'm halfway there. And I need one more. So I'm going to grab one more, take it, separate it. There we go. So last one. All right. And then I've got this other set of 3 that I can use later. So I'll keep that on the side because I'll need it probably later. Now what I need to do is just put these threads together. So I'm just getting them and straightening them out and going to basically put them back together. So I'm just trying to get the ends kind of at the same spot. There's 2. I've got 2 of them already together. And now we just need to get the last one. 3. There we go. All right, so I'm just kind of, again, just straightening that out. So now all my 3 are back together. A couple of things. We are going to need a knot for this, so I'm going to tie just a normal knot here. I'm just going to do this one right here where I go through the loop. So I'll go ahead and knot it off at the end. Might as well add it now. And there is my knot. And I can cut off that end. And you might be like, well, I didn't fold it in half. For this type of thread, this type of project, you don't do that. So for this one, it's already doubled. It's actually tripled, right? Because there's 3 different threads. So I don't need to do that. You might have some issues getting this needle threaded. And so I'm going to show you a little cheater trick that I like to use that helps me get my needle threaded, and that's tape. So I'm going to take a little piece of tape and I'm going to put it on the ends of my thread like such. And then I fold it in half. Oops. Sometimes it sticks to my fingernail. So it's like this. And now all I have to do is cut off the ends. So I'm going to cut beside it to get that extra off. And so basically, if you're wondering what did I do, I basically made like what they call an anglet, which is like, if you think about your shoelaces, the end of the shoelace that has that little hard plastic part that keeps all the threads from fraying. That's exactly what I did. And so now what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, is I'm going to take that little piece and I'm going to go through the eye of the needle, and you'll see how quick and easy that goes through. Look how easy and smooth that goes through. So it definitely helps you with threading your needle. So I definitely recommend that. Now, unlike the other where we were folding it in half completely and we didn't have to worry about the thread coming loose, this one we will have to worry about. So I make a long tail, probably like a 5 or 6 inch tail is sufficient. And I do need to finally cut off that little plastic piece I added basically with the tape. And I can just toss that in the trash. Get rid of a little trash here. All right, so now it looks like this. I've got my needle threaded. You can see where the tail is, right? And then down at the other end, clear down at the other end is my knot. Okay, so now we're ready to stitch. And so we're gonna wanna always start on the bottom because again, I wanna hide that knot. Okay, so I wanna start underneath and I'm gonna pull up, and it stopped because it hit my knot. And you can do a couple of different stitches here. This one here that I did is called a split stitch. So you really you could do that. Let me autofocus here a little bit so you can see. Over here, I just did back stitching. Over here, I did something called a fill stitch, and I'm still not done. I got to fix my bow up a little bit. And so you can do all kinds of different ones. I think I'll do just a, I think I'll do a back stitch. So how we do that on embroidery is you just take your little stitch and you pull and just take your time. Don't be in a rush. And just like before, you do take and go ahead of it. And then you almost connect. And basically just makes it look like one line. And I'm going to keep doing that. So I'm just going to keep going around. I'm going to go in. And this is just adding the spokes of my tire. I'd probably do the same stitch for my tree. For my bike, I wanted to get a little thicker. And so for my bike, I didn't quite just do a back stitch. I did a split stitch. And you might be like, what's the difference between the two? So look how much straighter my back stitch looks versus my split stitch. The split stitch, what's different about that is you actually go into the center of your stitch. So if this was to a split stitch, I'd go into the center of that. So it kind of looks like a chain, like it's linked together. And so again, there's all kinds of different stitches that you guys can do. And that's why I'm recommending you guys watch the video of the additional resources videos, because they show you so many stitches. It would take me a long time to show you all the different ones, and it wouldn't work for my project here either. But kind of look and see what you want to do. I've done flowers with French knots or lazy daisies. There's just so many, again, that you can replicate. I do fill a lot, which is like this one up here for the package. So lots and lots of choices here, but it's really cool, and I hope you guys have fun doing this. I am going to show you how to end it here in a second because I want to make sure you guys know how to end it. But I also, again, just want you to have fun with this, and it doesn't have to be a big design like mine is. Mine's a pretty, you know, robust design here. You don't have to have quite as detailed design. Some students just do their initials and they fill those in, or they make them look really pretty. Some people just do like a flower, a couple flowers, you know, and then that's perfectly fine. Some people have done a little bee or an Among Us character, and they all look great, and they all got full credit for doing their work. So don't feel like you have to do something that is a lot of detail. If you're into sewing and you love doing this kind of stuff and you're like, I don't have a whole lot to do, I'd love to keep my mind busy and make something extravagant, then that's wonderful and you totally can do that. So just kind of keep in mind it's kind of up to you. And that's the cool part about this assignment is you get to decide how hard or how easy the assignment is because you're the one picking the design to make it. So that's that. All right, let's talk about ending it. So you might want to end it obviously because you're changing colors. You might want to end it because you're just going clear across to the other end of something. It just really varies based on um, what exactly you're doing. It may be that you are running short of thread. Although typically on embroidery, that's not usually the case. It's usually because unless you're embroidering something very big, you're probably going to have plenty of thread left over. But I was embroidering something the other day that I actually did run short on thread, and I was kind of sad because I had to rethread. But anyways, let's talk about how to end this. So just end like normal here. So we're just going to take our last stitch, go back into that, and then I'm going to flip it over so it's on the back. Okay, and just ignore my other one here because I didn't end it because I want to finish up my bow a little bit. And so here I am on the back. All right. And my front looks like that. I've got the spokes on the tire now. Okay. And I'm also going to be doing this part as well because we know that's like great kind of metal on the bike. And so what do you do? What I would recommend doing is just going underneath some of the stitches you've created. Make sure that you don't just do that one time. Like one time just would not be enough. But also keep in mind, this isn't a garment that we're going to wear that's going to be getting moved around a lot. But I try to go under some of my stitches. If you're worried about it showing through, typically with something like this, as long as it is put back up to a um, like a wall, like you're hanging it on your wall or something, and there's no light coming through that, then it doesn't usually show. So right now, even the pull through doesn't show. But again, if you put your hand underneath it, it makes it even darker, and it should not show through. So looks really cute, right? And again, I've got a lot of work still to do on this one. This was definitely a little bit more detailed one. Um, Again, you do not have to do that. You can choose a smaller one. Hopefully that helps you. Again, don't forget to go to the other videos or even look up your own. Maybe you're looking for a specific design and they have some cool ones on there. And you really, the cool thing about embroidery is that you get to choose a lot of what you do. And of course, there's some guidelines and some recommendations, but you can be in control of it, especially since we're not really following a pattern. Like you kind of made a pattern or you found a free one online. You're not doing one from like a actual kit or something like that. And you're trying to make it look exactly like that. So you're kind of trying to get a similarity between yours. All right, guys, I hope you're having fun. Keep working hard.